evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Startup Central right here on ET Now with me, Sumita Karir. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be taking you through the top stories that we're focusing on as far as this particular show is concerned. Ladies and gentlemen, through the course of the AI Summit, in fact, leading up to the AI Summit, we're going to be getting you chats, special interviews with the tech honchos of the country and their perspective on India's AI push. Remember, because India's AI push is in sharp focus as the country is preparing to host the India AI Impact Summit that will bring together global tech leaders and policy makers to shape the next phase of AI adoption, following major commitments that have been made by companies like Microsoft to scale AI and cloud infrastructure in the country. Now, the spotlight is now shifting from infrastructure to outcomes on how AI is being applied, the value it's delivering, and how enterprises are adapting to Agentic AI. And to discuss what the summit essentially means for India and India's AI push and how businesses, more importantly, are approaching AI-led transformation, I'm now joined in by Rajiv, Kumar, Managing Director and President of Microsoft India Development Center. Thank you very much, Rajiv, for taking the time out and speaking to us here on ET Now. In fact, we're also joined by Arundhati Bhattacharya as well of Salesforce. Thank you very much, ma'am, for taking the time out. Let me begin first with you, Rajiv. Talk to us about the kind of investments that Microsoft has committed in December that was worth a whopping $17.5 billion. This was essentially to advance India's cloud and AI infrastructure. How are those investments essentially getting deployed by Microsoft?
I think the AI movement is here, and we are so energized to see India as a country poised to really capitalize on this new technology. And hence we feel privileged to partner with this country and in this AI transformation journey. This announcement that Satya did in December for $17.5 billion on top of the $3 billion that he had announced in January was primarily to move the country forward in three aspects. One is infrastructure scale, to build the AI cloud where GPUs can run, where people can use compute to build applications. The second is for helping India do the scaling, where we have committed to almost 20 million AI professionals in this country by 2030. We have already done 5.6 billion, and we are aspiring to get to 20 million. And the third is our commitment to this country is shown by the number of data centers that we are operating. We already have three, one in Mumbai, second in Pune, and third one in Chennai. And we are working in one of the largest data center in Hyderabad that we will announce this year. So we are fully committed, and the investments are to provide the platform and the infrastructure for the country to leverage AI as a platform.
Right, Rajiv, but how do you see India's role evolving in Microsoft's global AI roadmap over the next 5 to 10 years?
First of all, we see three things. One, we see India has already been always one of the largest developer ecosystem in this planet. And what we see in the GitHub Copilot is the number of AI projects that is getting contributed on GitHub Copilot is second in the world and fast growing to even becoming number one by end of this decade. And that is a great signal that this country is in the grassroots is adopting AI, and the AI is diffusing very broadly, right from classroom to boardroom, from farm to finance sector. If I take now the enterprise section, if I look at the IT companies, leading IT companies in this country, there's almost 250,000 AI, M365 AI already deployed in companies like Infosys, Wipro, Cognizant, LTI, Mindtree, Infosys, and TCS. So these are the 5 leading IT companies that we are working with for in their own AI transformation journey. So I think these are some of the early signs of this transformation that the country is trying to go through from the world of DPI, digital public infrastructure, to the AI public infrastructure. And we see that in many different ways. And some of these is what I just talked about, the developers contributing to the AI projects, these leading industries leveraging the AI co-pilot to make their employees experience richer. So these are just early signs of that journey.
Right, Rajiv, and I quite agree with that. Let me also sort of drift a little away from the AI summit and talk to you about the union budget's announcements. In fact, the government had focused on data centers, and that included a tax holiday and a 15% safe harbor provision for companies. What do you think those announcements and the impact that they're going to have as far as IT and, of course, data center related tech companies are concerned?
As a leader in a leading company of AI, I see this as a commitment from the government to ensure that people build AI systems and infrastructure in this country, and that's another good signal towards this journey and commitment from the leadership of this country to move the country forward in this new, to leverage this new technology of AI. So we see this as a very positive signal of encouraging even the entrepreneurs in this country to leverage this country and build infrastructure that will help move the country forward. That's how I see it.
Right, Rajiv, but what new roles or job categories do you foresee emerging in India because of widespread AI adoption?
A lot of people talk about how the job will change, how how the job might be taken away, what new jobs will come. But I feel there are two parts to this answer to your question. One is every job will change in terms of being able to have more impact, because with as an AI, with leveraging AI, you can be an analyst. Like for example, if you're working in a company and you're doing some Excel work and you have these data analysts who can give you insights, you can do it yourself. So your job is changing. The second place where AI will create new job is lot of uh, I call it the physical AI. Lot of AI right now we are seeing is in the space of digital AI, but we also see in the last CES computer equipment conference, we could see a lot of hardware that is being powered by AI. So I see computer science, electronic engineering, mechanical engineering coming together to leverage AI to build systems that can help us even in the physical space. And one of the simple examples that we have experienced already is the self-driving car. That I think is the beginning, but there will be many more smart machines that will come up. So I think the opportunities are just opening up, Sumitra.
Right. Rajiv, let me ask you one final question before we wrap up this discussion. Which breakthroughs today you think will have the largest real world impact in the world 3 years from now, and how is Microsoft preparing for those changes?
It started with just Q&A where you can ask questions and you get the answer. Then we saw a lot of reasoning engine innovations where you could do logical reasoning and the model could do reasoning. We are seeing a lot of innovation in multimedia where pictures and videos get created. And most lately, what we are seeing is in the area of coding. I know coding was always there, but the amount or the depth and the breadth of coding and power that we see is the latest model of Anthropic is mind-blowing. Now, to be specific, what will change the most? I think all these will have impact, but being a computer engineer, I feel the ability of writing code and being able to solve problems in an algorithmic way, in a math, because code is nothing but mathematics. Being able to use mathematics to solve some creative idea that you have in your mind can be very, very powerful, Sumita. I think that if I have to pick one on top of a normal model is the coding ability that will get empowered for every citizen on this planet and in this country.
Absolutely, Rajiv, and those are some interesting changes that you've spoken about. Of course, the Anthropic Claude tool and the way that it has disrupted the IT sector is something that we will be keeping a close watch on. And in fact, global companies as well and investors will be very keenly watching some of those developments. But for the moment, thank you very much for taking the time out and speaking to us here on ET Now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as AI moves from experimentation to enterprise adoption, the focus now increasingly is on real-world outcomes and how AI is being deployed at scale. The returns organizations are seeing, and of course, to talk about this and more, the deployment of AI on a large-scale perspective, and as a result of that, the kind of ROI that organizations are seeing or will see. I'm now joined by Arundhati Bhattacharya. She's the President and CEO of Salesforce South Asia. In fact, thank you very much, Arundhati, for taking the time out. I believe that you had to leave for important work. You had a flight, but you decided to make the time. So thank you very much once again. And no one better than you and Salesforce to talk on AI and Agentic AI. You've recently deepened your ties with OpenAI and Anthropic to power your Agentforce platform. So give us a sense of the kind of ROI that organizations are getting, organizations like Salesforce are getting when it comes to AI.
See, I think, starting from the ROI is probably a wrong way to start because the fact of the matter is it takes a little time for the ROI to actually show up. The first thing that is required is to understand how Agentic is really helping. And towards that end, I think what Agentic really does is enables a far greater insight into the customer. At the end of the day, a business revolves around its customer. And the better you know the customer, the better you're able to serve them, the better you're able to maintain their loyalty, the more sticky they are. And therefore, to that extent, your business becomes more sustainable. Now, that is what Agentic really and truly empowers. The ability to have the insights of your customers, which you never had before. And once you realize that, then actually the sky is the limit. The ROI will follow. But, if you put the cart before the horse and if you ask for the ROI ahead of time, then it's very difficult to predict exactly what the ROI is going to be.
All right, Arundhati, I'd refer a bit from you, especially when it comes to ROI, given the entire conversation now is around ROI and how Agentic AI is sort of driving that or not for companies. So let's talk about the India AI Summit. India is going to be hosting the AI Summit in the next few days. How critical is the India market being looked at by global companies? And what's the sense that you're getting on where India can come in, especially when it comes to taking leadership on AI and tech?
So I think, India has a very good chance of providing that leadership, mainly because we have a very deep pool of talent that is, that is suitable for not only adopting AI, but also being experts at actually, practicing all of the streams that are required in order to get ahead in the AI area. Our pool of talent, given the kind of engineers we have in the country, they are not only digitally very savvy, but they are also young. They are able to very quickly adapt to the changes that are happening. And they are agile enough to be able to incorporate all of this knowledge in the skill sets that they have. Because of that, India can actually be a leader in implementing and in also taking forward the AI initiatives in many, many companies. Therefore, if you look at India today, India also has one other advantage, which is the diversity of data. As you know, all of AI depends mainly on data. And the more diverse the data sets, the better will be the insights that can be got out of AI. And India has that diversity of data. So if we really marshal our data, if we really ensure that our workforce is properly skilled, then there is absolutely no reason why we should not have a front row seat in all of these initiatives and be one of the powerhouses that actually powers the AI initiatives going forward.
Right, Arundhati, and when we talk about India's approach on AI, India has decided to focus on the application layer model against a very resource intensive model, that kind of an approach. So how is that approach being looked at by global companies, especially when we look at how the United States or China, for instance, are looking at AI and how they're developing their own LLMs?
So basically, I think, India is looking at what is really required for itself. Okay. And applications are what are required. If I'm going to serve a population of 1.4 billion people, I will not be able to serve it properly unless I have the applications that make life possible and simple for them. Whether it be in the area of, social services such as healthcare, such as education, such as reach out at the time of crisis, etc. All of these will need applications that will make it possible for a population this large to be serviced in the way that they need to be serviced, with the right level of services being provided to each and every one of them. So to that extent, the need for India to have all these applications is huge. Now, can India put in a lot of money in research and development? Well, the amount of money that is required to be put into research and development can be pretty large. Now, can we instead look at models that are far more, efficient, far less resource intensive? Absolutely, we can do that. So I don't think it needs to be either one or the other, but whatever we do, we have to do it in a manner that is less resource intensive, that can actually be frugal innovation. And India, I think, is very good at frugal innovation. And that should be our suite, that should be our USP, that should be the place where we should, play the whole thing from.
That's right, Arundhati. So efficiency is going to drive India's approach. But let me also talk to you about one of the recent developments with respect to AI, and that is AI company Anthropic's products. The cloud tool that actually led to a massive sell-off in IT companies, and that really suggested a potential challenge to IT companies is what some experts have been talking about. Do you read it like that, and how will business models of IT companies and hence change?
Well, Indian IT companies have weathered a lot of changes in the last 30 years and always come out on top. In fact, when cloud came in, it was also said that, there would be no jobs for the IT companies and things like that. Instead, cloud itself opened up a whole new area where services were required. When changes happen, it's not that jobs get lost. It's just that jobs get evolved. So I think what the Indian IT companies need to do is to prepare for the age of agentic. They need to be properly enabled. They need to acquire the right kind of skills. They need to understand the suite of products that they are required to deliver. And if they can change themselves, I have no doubt at all that they will be able to weather this challenge as well. But yes, the fact that things are evolving is true, and that we need to evolve very quickly along with it. That also is correct. And speed today is of the essence. Therefore, we need to get on to this as quickly as possible.
Right, Arundhati, we need to evolve as soon as AI developments are happening. But since we're talking about evolution, let me ask you, how do you see the evolution of Salesforce 2 years from now amidst all of these developments in the AI space?
Well, I think Salesforce is very well positioned because we've been talking about, using our system of records, which is the entire CRM platform, whether it be sales, service, marketing, commerce, integration, analytics, all of this, and to have the agents ride on top of it. So, the best agents are those that are able to answer in context. We provide the context because we have the data. If you have an agent doing things in a contextual manner, the end result of it, the insights that those agents are able to give are far superior and far more useful. So to that extent, I have no doubt at all that this evolution of ours, where we have gone from agentic AI to agentic enterprise, this is what is going to be our way to success. And this is the way we will evolve going further. But we will always ensure that the human is in the chain, because we believe that there has to be a collaboration between humans and agents in order to have the best outcome possible.
Absolutely, that's right. So essentially bringing context to agentic AI is how Salesforce is going to drive the change and how Salesforce is going to differentiate itself from other companies in the space. On that note, Arundhati, I thank you once again for joining us here on Startup Central and talking to us about all things AI. Thanks very much once again. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for us to step into a very short commercial break, but lots more coming up on the other side. You don't go anywhere and stay tuned to Startup Central only on ET Now.